Hey guys, time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So stick around here for a while. I'm going to unveil the surprise I've been talking about here. So this is the motor with its tinware on it for the cowlick bug. Those of you that follow the channel know that we're going to do something kind of wild here. And so yeah, stick around here towards the end of the today's video. I'm going to lift the curtain and show what that is. So in the meantime, though, let's talk about this guy here. So had a few things we had to iron out. Again, those of you that follow know that I took this thing for its maiden voyage last week on Friday. A couple little issues, one of which was that the car was too low in back. Despite doing our best to set the spring plates where we thought they should be when we put the car together, it just came out kind of low. I don't know if the torsion bars are maybe a little saggy, or anyway, not a big deal. I mean, the design of these is such that you can adjust them in pretty fine increments. Volkswagen did a really good job of designing the rear suspension on these things for adjustability. It's a pain to adjust them, but you can, again, in very fine increments. So anyway, we raised the back, at least on paper, about 2/3 of an inch, so like 65, 66 inches. It was, when I measured it before, it was about 3/4 of an inch lower than the front. They are supposed to sit with the front slightly higher, so I thought bringing the back up about 0.66 or so would leave the front a hair higher and also leave some room for the front to settle a little bit and still be probably a hair higher than the back. So we haven't driven it though, so in the morning, I think Rafa and I are both going to hop in this thing and take it for a spin together. Two heads are better than one as far as us kind of evaluating the car and seeing what other little minor tweaks need to be done. But yeah, so Rafa adjusted the rear suspension on that this morning. He did some other little things, like he put the battery cover on the battery. Adjusted the side molding a bit. This one here was sitting a little low. Now it's lined up pretty nice. So, geez, what else? Some other little things like that. I don't even remember. There's very, very minor things at this point. Again, we need to put some more miles on this thing. Some other little issues may pop up, but again, that's what we want to happen. If they are going to pop up, is that it'll happen when it's in our hands before we hand it over to the owner. This car is going to come back even after it goes to him. Those of you, again, that follow know that we're trying to meet a deadline here to get the car to him for his mom's 90th birthday celebration. He wants to drive up to it with her there in the passenger seat. This was her car originally, or the family car originally anyway. And so, but anyway, these are not the permanent door panels. These are some that we had made, which are super nice, but they're not actually correct, technically speaking. We have the correct ones on order from TMI, where the ribs are sort of like heat pressed in there. These are obviously sewn in ribs, so not right. But again, we wanted to get the car to them, so I'm just eating the cost of these super nice but temporary ones that we had made, and then maybe I don't know, like early next month or something, the correct one should be in. We'll bring the car in, swap those out, maybe do an oil change and stuff at that point. But yeah, for the most part, the car is going to be done when they get it, other than swapping those out, and it should be about it. But yeah, so we'll drive it around tomorrow, see if we are happy with the rear suspension height after adjusting it today. Hopefully we don't have to go and tweak it again, but yeah, we'll see. We want it to look right, so whatever we have to do is what we have to do. So that happened today on that one. This guy, as you can see, is sitting on the ground, which is a pretty big deal. It's a roller now. The back looks super funky because I lowered it off the jack. It hasn't settled any, so it's got this massive amount of camber. Of course, there's no weight in it to speak of because there's no motor in it. So when it rolls around and it's got a motor in it and so on, then we'll kind of evaluate, the rear height. Front height is adjustable. Back height is adjustable via the torsion bars, which is a pain in the ass, especially on these straight axle conversion buses. But The owner doesn't want the bus like slammed. He just wants it subtly lower. So, you know, compared to a stock bus, maybe, yeah, like an inch or so lower. Again, not slammed. He's got a steep driveway he needs to get in and out of, and he just wants it to look cool. They sit pretty high stock, so it's going to come down a little bit. And so, yeah, I worked on that today. I also worked on mocking up the e-brakes with the cables that I had custom made, and I think they're going to work out really well. So the e-brake is out right now because I had to touch up some paint up underneath there, and it was in the way. But yeah, so this bus is moving right along. What else? I'm getting to that, so be patient. So the cowlick bug itself, still kind of futzing around with the cowlick one-piece windows. This is just sitting on here temporarily, so let me take that out. This is actually a window scraper out of a split window Beetle, which came with one-piece windows. So what I'm trying at the moment for the inner felt is actually something I got, believe it or not, from Home Depot, and it's like the brush style, and it's got some really good adhesive on it underneath this strip here. So I originally was going to try and use this material, which I got from a local hot rod shop. But the problem is when I started mocking it up, what I found was this was actually too thin. So in this direction here. So when I had the window in here and I rolled the window up, which then at that point it's centered because it's in the channel right here. And then I took a piece of that felt strip there and pretty much held it in place here. There was a big gap in there. I mean, it wouldn't have even been touching the window. So I wanted something thicker, and I remembered seeing this stuff at Home Depot. So I thought, you know what, let me give this stuff a try. It actually seems to work really well. I may even just put a strip of this stuff on the outside as well, but I would rather have a legitimate scraper on the outside. So I am going to try and install the one that I just showed, the split window outer scraper. And again, I've got some little like push clips that I'm going to try to hold it in. Combination of those and some glue up front where there's no, you probably won't be able to see it, but there's no holes up here for the weather strip, because normally the weather strip ends about here, and then from here forward you've got a vent wing. So the holes end, you know, in here somewhere. So I'm going to use those little push deals, you know, from here back, and then glue from there forward. Again, the split window one. We'll see how that goes. If that doesn't seem like it's going to cooperate for one reason or another, then it's getting the brush style inside and out. So, but yeah, I did that. And so without further ado, let's take a look at what we did here. So this guy, Mr. Larry, is a huge fan of a certain 80s band. Well, I guess, I don't know, they're probably still around, honestly. But he wanted to work that theme into the car. And, you know, we kind of bounced some ideas back and forth. And I think I was the one that had the idea of doing something with the fan shroud to incorporate that theme. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pull this off. Now, I should say this is probably going to be polarizing. Some of you may hate it, some of you may love it, but the owner loves it, and that's all that counts. So here we go. There it is. Those of you that were around in the 80s or 90s even probably know exactly what this is. This is the pattern off Eddie Van Halen's guitar, which we had our very talented guy, Kent Garcia, I mentioned him last week. He hand painted that onto the fan shroud. And so there you go. That's what we're doing. So, I mean, to me, again, him being a big Van Halen fan, this is bitchin'. It screams 80s, which again, this car has an 80s theme to it. This fits right in. I think it looks perfect. Perfect for him especially. And so there you go, that's it. Let me show you what else we had him paint with that same theme here. If I can find what I did with it. Let me pause this for a second. Okay, here we go, found it. So this is the other place that we're working in the theme, is the glove box door. And you can see how he wrapped it around that edge and stopped right on that edge. And so let me go ahead and hold this here for a second. So there you go, killer, right? So yeah, the owner seems very happy, as he should be. We managed to work the theme into his car. For the most part, it's hidden, not too in your face, unless you happen to be, sitting in the passenger seat, or inside the car, or when you open the deck lid, boom, that's going to be right there. Otherwise, not like some big graphics on the side of the car or anything crazy like that. So yeah, that's kind of what we came up with. It's a way to work it in, but not have it too in your face, again, unless you're, happen to be looking at the engine, or you would obviously notice it if you were sitting in the car there with the glove box. But there it is, guys. So like it or hate it, if you hate it, well, keep your opinions to yourself. If you love it, love to hear about that. But, most importantly, the owner likes it. And so that's who we're building the car for. So that is it for today, guys. We will see you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.